Welcome in, everyone. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts weekly close special. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You need to click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday, sometimes on the weekend, to bring you what I am looking at as a very important weekly close. We will go live some of these weekly closes. With that being said, what I did post out on Twitter earlier today was that if we did see a Bitcoin close coming in, man, this light that is coming at me so that I look a little brighter than being in the dark. It's really fucking bright. Not used to this because usually I have the natural daylight coming through. So a nice bright light shining in my face is not the best. But anyway, I am a man of my word. I had posted out today that if we saw Bitcoin close today greater than or equal to $64,000, I would go live. I think we closed out around $64,019. We were close enough. I was going to come on live anyway. We're closing in and close enough. So with that being said, I think there's going to be some important developments within the weekly chart. We can also take an updated look at the monthly to see how that's looking. But I want to start with the weekly. And actually, before we get into that, did want to take a look at the daily. Something, I was keeping you guys, if you're following me on Twitter, I've been keeping you guys updated. Not putting out a million charts intentionally because I'm really trying to simplify your life. Just like I shared with you on Friday, I think the main thing that we need to focus on is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to indicate to us which direction and what is most likely for the rest of the market. Of course, you all know what I believe is going to transpire here in the next several months that I've been speaking to for a while now. But regardless, we have to allow this price data to continue to develop and then formulate our conclusions based on our hypotheses of what's moving forward, most likely based on this emerging price data, right? So one of the things that I had shared with you yesterday when we're looking at the daily here, I said I wanted to see a close at or above this black descending line of resistance. We got it. Okay, so that's check mark number one. Check mark number two is the preceding candlestick. Now, time and time again, I know I sound like a broken record for you guys, which is a good sign for those of you who have been here for a while. But one of the things that I did tell you is that when we break out of a descending area of resistance, what does price often like to do when it's bullish? It likes to come back and it likes to back test this area, which was once resistance. It back tests it and flips it into support. Okay, that's exactly what happened. This is completely textbook. We're also in this orange zone that I had posted out on X and Twitter, and I've spoken to on the live stream. This orange rectangular area here is a major area of price confluence. Okay. It's going to be very challenging for price to get above here. If we go back to the 12-hour, which was the original point of this chart, I just quick looked at it on the daily, you can see right now we're actually pressing above the 50 simple moving average, which is great to see. Okay, that's the purple line. Okay, what I'd really like to see, if you really want to get a good indication of what to watch for here in the shorter term, to leave you feeling more confident that we're going to continue churning higher in the shorter term here, really this rough area right here at 63.8, we want to see it hold on a daily candle closing basis, okay? Not so much the 12-hour, but on a daily basis. And of course, the 12-hour actually lines up here with the 50 simple moving average. So you can look at this on the 12-hour daily. But ideally, what we want to see at this point, daily closes, even 12-hour closes, at or above 63,800. That's what you want to look for. And as I've shared with you on the live stream and as I shared with you on Twitter, really the main area that we need to see break, and remember, this is a key point, 68,000, right? 68,000 is that key area. It's not just price getting above 68,000, it's getting a candle body close above it, and then the preceding candlestick, which is the confirmation candlestick, holding at or above $68,000. When you see two consecutive daily candle closes at or above $68,000, I believe it's going to be go time. We've just cleared a historic area of resistance. And keep in mind, I had posted this out at some point this weekend. What do you think is going to happen when I have not honestly been as active on YouTube or keeping up with crypto content. Like I said, there are channels and there's videos sometimes I watch where I don't necessarily, I'm not subscribed to the channel or I don't actively follow these people, but I try to get a gauge for the market by keeping tabs on who is saying what. The certain bears that have existed since 2022 and have never turned their tune around, I'm sure, and I can't confirm this, but I'm sure, I feel pretty positive in saying this without even checking any content, that they completely flipped bearish here and we're saying we were down for a mega downturn, right? I know there's a lot of people that are waiting for much lower price targets. And while that's still possible, guys, it's still entirely possible. Don't get me wrong. Don't get my words twisted here. It's entirely possible we could continue churning down. That is absolutely a possibility. I don't see it happening, but it's certainly a possibility. And the only way to turn that around is to create these higher highs and higher lows and begin to invalidate these lower highs here, okay? But what I was saying is, I completely digress. There's a lot of people still waiting for much lower price targets. So what do you think is going to happen when, because this is what I believe is going to happen, when price starts getting up to 68, and then 72, and then 75, and then 78, and then 83, and then 88? This is going to create FOMO. So many people are continuing to miss out on this move. Don't lose sight of the fact this isn't just my opinion. In fact, this isn't my opinion. This is a fact. Most people have been sidelined in the markets in this area. If you've been following me on this channel, okay, for quite some time now, you know, even though I felt that most likely the bottom was in here, I never say anything definitively, but hold on, I'm having some problems. Here we go. Even though I felt that the bottom was most likely in here, and we hit 17.7, and here we hit 15.5, okay, like a 10% difference. The bottom line is, I was screaming to you guys that while I never can offer you financial advice, and I never will, it was my opinion that this represented a massive buying opportunity in the crypto markets. Just as people were screaming for prices to go significantly lower to $5,000, which I always said to you guys I thought was an absolute fucking joke when people were saying that, okay? Well, these same people, okay, without naming names, I mean, you have some morons in this space who were shorting Bitcoin going into $60,000. I mean, you would have had to have been a complete moron not knowing what you were doing if you were shorting Bitcoin on the recent run up towards $60,000 and above. But the same people who were bearish here, they were bearish here. They were saying that prices, could continue going lower, retest this area, and then continue up, or we just stagnate in here for 10 months. What was I saying on this channel? I was saying bullshit, and I was saying that my view was more than likely we were going to see a run up in prices much sooner than people thought. And look what we got, okay? There were people shorting the market in here. Again, you would have had to have been a complete moron to be shorting the markets in here. Make no mistake about the words that I'm using here. Shorting in this type of an environment where the chart is clearly indicative of a parabola, okay? It's the same thing to be longing back here. You never want to catch a falling knife, okay? And you never want to short a parabola. They're equally moronic in decision making, okay? Never try to catch a falling knife and never be the moron who's trying to short a parabola. They're both moronic decisions, okay? Hopefully people will learn from their mistakes. It's one of the best learning opportunities. But if we go to the weekly now, and I wanted to check out this weekly close with you guys. That was the whole premise or the whole reason behind going live here. So I had to do a quick 60-second search to refresh my memory to make sure I had the name of the candlestick correctly. Obviously, I know this is a hammer candlestick, but just to refresh, I was saying that a green, dragonfly doji was possible this week, as well as on the total cryptocurrency market cap weekly views for Bitcoin. A dragonfly doji is where the highest price point that a weekly, in this case, we're looking at weekly, right? It's the highest price point that the week gets, okay, is equal to, roughly, where it opens and closes. Okay, or excuse me. Yes, opens and, basically the price opens and closes right at like the highest price point that it has reached that week. It would create a very thin body, okay? And generally there's a very long, well, there has to be, a long wick, right? That is a dragonfly doji, which is indicative of a major trend reversal to the upside. Well, what candlestick pattern do we have present right now? We printed a green hammer candle candlestick. This is, again, a huge indication of a trend reversal to the upside, okay? A green hammer candlestick is indicative of most likely a trend reversal to the upside, okay? Now, let's take a look at the price indicators. It's something else I would point out to you guys, something I was speaking to on Friday. I was talking about how we haven't seen 5 red weekly candlesticks forever. Remember that? We were taking a look at that together. It just so happens we didn't get the 5th red candlestick. This printed green, okay? Now, let's see what's going on with the price indicators. So right now, what has occurred is, because this weekly candlestick printed so positive, the first thing I want to take a look at is the stochastic RSI. It looks like, looking at the stochastic RSI, we want to sort of bottom here and begin to cross back up. Just using some basic reasonability skills here, I think it's entirely possible, if we look at the stochastic RSI, okay, I think that you could see now again, the reason I'm looking at this with you and the reason this is so important, we're looking at a weekly view of Bitcoin. When you get those stochastic RSI confirmation crosses, which occur above 20, they historically have indicated a monumental rise in price. Guys, thumbs up if you appreciate me randomly going live for a weekly close. Appreciate the support. I'm seeing half the amount of engagement as there are viewers, which is not helpful for the channel. But what I would anticipate if bullish momentum sustains itself for the month of May, I think this is a fairly good representation, but I would say more towards the end of May here, not this week, not the following week, not even the week after that. But I think anytime starting May 27th, the week of May 27th, if we get bullish momentum that sustains itself within the market, I think that you could, I'm stuttering around. If bullish momentum sustains itself and we see higher prices coming into this market over the next 3 weeks, I believe you're going to see a bullish cross on the stochastic RSI, okay? Now, the other thing that we want to take a look at is the relative strength index, just the straight up RSI. I wanted us to get back above 70. You can see we're gravitating right under 70, guys. We're sitting at 68, okay? So if we could manage, I mean, hell, if we could manage, I would say that the most bullish thing, in my opinion, the most bullish, reasonable thing that you could see potentially occur this month. I couldn't see anything more bullish occurring than this month. But we'll have to wait and see. If you can get right at or above this level, we're actually just going to say $69,000. We'll just keep it nice and simple. If we can get a weekly close at or above $69,000, that would be about as bullish as you could hope for. Again, that would put us above the $68,000 level that I spoke to. It puts us above a major area of price confluence here. It would do wonders for our price indicators, for the stochastic RSI, as well as it would get this RSI back above 70, which would be great to see. Now, what's going on with the MACD? you can see again, we really need this week to come in strong for us because you can see the way the histogram is picking up bearish here. We need this thing to begin to flatten out. If we get a bullish close this week, this thing is going to begin to flatten and slightly curve up. Mark my words. But we need a bullish week this week for that to happen. You'll also see the histogram turn, might still be dark red, but it'll be smaller in scale. So, or I guess actually technically it would be lighter red. As it starts to decrease, it goes lighter red. So there is a potential, if we can get a bullish week to come in this week, you would see that histogram start to turn lighter red on its way back up towards green. So very, very pivotal. Like I said, this month is going to be very, very pivotal for Bitcoin. I have not been shy in making that assertion. Let me just close my window here. Trying to get some fresh air in here. Oh, guys, I don't know if you follow me on X or Twitter, but I was out at a block party today for Cinco de Mayo, and it is funny watching all the white people trying to dance like Latinas. It is quite hysterical. And also, for all of the women out there, I just want to say, for all the women out there, because there's literally no women listening to this live stream, so actually this is for you guys. Guys, if you ever hear women give you shit, or the general male population shit, about being a certain way, women could be just as bad. You have no idea how many drunk women I ran into, dropping me business cards, making all sorts of probably not the best comments about my legs or whatever the case is. And I thought to myself, you know, I always think this when these sorts of things happen. If roles were reversed and this was a man doing and saying these things to a woman, it would be harassment and completely inappropriate. But the other way around, it's completely socially acceptable, apparently. Anyway, let's get back to the charts. Actually, let me see who's in the live stream here. Juan, welcome in. Let's fucking go. Todd, appreciate the support. Oof, let's fucking go. Evan, good to see you here, my friend. And Steady, I have not seen you in the live stream for a bit, but I've been on incognito as well, so very good to see you too. Women need to chase men. It's entrenched in their psychology. Yeah, man, there's nothing more unattractive to me personally. But, okay. So right now, really good to see that we're holding this 60,000 psychological area of support. We got a nice green hammer candlestick coming in on the weekly. And so really, like I said to you before, it would be very healthy, right? After we got a little bit overextended to the upside here, if we just consolidated in this zone for a couple weeks, okay? Now, with that being said, I did want to pull up the monthly. Let's see what sort of progress we have made on the monthly candlestick, given that the weekly came in so favorable. Let's look at the vortex indicator. I have all these three indicators here. So remember, one of the things I was indicating to you when we were looking at this candlestick here, now remember, we looked at the monthly close, right? And we said, hey, this is not good. We have a bearish monthly engulfing candle. Statistics tell us that more than likely there's more downside to come this month. I can't tell you how much lower, but there's definitely, it could be a potential trend reversal to the downside. It could just be more downturn volatility. If we didn't have so many other bullish factors in our favor, you would have heard me sound a little bit more bearish about this. Now, I kept things real with you. I spoke to the fact that this is not good to see, but I would have sounded a little bit more bearish if there weren't so many bullish factors in our favor. You can see for the month right now, this candlestick has completely turned around. Now, if we were, I will tell you this much, and I want you to keep this in mind, okay? Remember me speaking to this. If you see for the month of May, I'm not talking the week, I'm not talking a daily candle, at the end of the month, which is a long time away, we still got 26 days. If by June 1st, on Saturday, June 1st, you see a monthly candlestick close at or above this area of resistance at 69,000, fucking game on. June, July, and August are going to be mind-blowing, in my opinion, okay? This is something we'll be watching closely. Now, remember, when we looked at these three indicators down here, remember what I said? The only one that was starting to churn was the Traders Dynamic Index. And I said that the green and blue lines were kissing each other. Well, look at them now. Remember, these indicators don't print until their respective monthly candlestick prints, right? So even though 5 days ago or 4 days ago or 3 days ago, these two were kissing. Remember how I said they were kissing and making out? They were getting more action than CBG. Remember I said that? They were kissing here. Well, because we had a bullish weekly close, now what has happened is they've resumed in a bullish direction, right? So we really need this month to close out for it to tell us really what's going on with that chart. Total, perfect to see here. I mean, this is not a... It's crazy because, this is not a textbook Dragonfly Doji, but it's very close to it. It's very close to it because, again, you'd really need to open and close somewhere up here in the 2.31, 2.32, and it looks like we're right around 2.29. This is, to me, this is honestly debatable if this is a Dragonfly Doji versus a hammer candlestick. Either way, it doesn't matter to us as bulls because each of those two candlesticks are monumentally bullish in nature and they tell a similar story. Whether it's a green hammer, I don't know why I struggle to say this, a green hammer candlestick, okay, or a green Dragonfly Doji, they both indicate trend reversals to the upside, okay, or trend continuation to the upside. And so it doesn't really matter to us. But if we look at total, guys, again, stochastic RSI has flattened out. If we can continue to see a few bullish weeks come in, this thing's going to cross above 20, just like Bitcoin. Things are looking very, 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 very nice. Was there anything else? Did want to give you a quick update on WIF. I just spoke to this, and I said one of the ways you could play this is you could wait for us to break, and we broke the day after I said it, and then wait for this zone to be held. So far, let me just say, so far so good. You can see that when we broke up here on WIF, right, we broke all the way up past 330, and there's another area of price confluence I have at 318. We came down, we backtested 318 as support. This is our confirming candle. The preceding candlestick is the confirming candlestick, okay? So right now, what we can do is, because we've gotten two candlesticks holding above there, when the candle body closes, we can flip this green, okay? The most bullish thing you would want to see on this chart would be for roughly 318 to hold as support on a candle body closing basis. Not a wick, guys. It doesn't matter if you wake up tomorrow morning and you see prices all the way down at like 305. That doesn't matter. All that matters is what's the closing price at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, okay, tomorrow. Any other charts that I really quickly wanted to take a look at with you guys? You know, one chart we haven't taken a look at in a while. I do want to take a look at it with you because this will give us a flavor for altcoins. You know, Ethereum really has been lagging more than I thought it was going to. And you can see, so right now, guys, this is a great example of something that is not playing out as I anticipated. I'm never going to be able to come on here and tell you with obvious 100% certainty what's going to happen, right? So I spoke to this ascending line of support that has held since late 2016. And you can see we held, right? We held. Now we're starting to break down and deviate. Now, this is not the end of the world, and let me explain why. Right now, all we've done is we have clearly invalidated the ascending line as support. So is it game over for Ethereum? No, it's not game over for Ethereum. I've seen way too many charts that play out like this. Let me explain to you what I see, okay? What I see is even though there's obvious weakness in this chart, meaning there's obvious weakness in Ethereum's performance relative to Bitcoin. Do you notice the other thing that is going on within this chart? We've gravitated right into this area of support right in here, this green zone. You see this green zone that I have highlighted here that we've hit in before? So all we've done is we've exhibited a degree of weakness, certainly, by not holding this ascending line of support, but now all we've done is sort of just chipped and chopped and stayed in this range, right? So for me, now evaluating this chart, what am I going to be looking out for? There's a couple different scenarios that could play out in this chart. Now again, the reason you really want to be privy to this chart, you really need to understand what's going on, is because no matter what your view of the altcoin space is and whatever projects you're into, you want Ethereum to do well, because historically speaking, keep in mind, Ethereum is the #1 altcoin, and until something overtakes Ethereum, Ethereum will be indicative of what we can expect for the broader altcoin market. It will provide liquidity, it will provide confidence, and a heightened state of euphoria in the altcoin space if Ethereum does well. So a couple different scenarios that I could see playing out here. First, I could see us just chopping in this range before we decide to inevitably break up. I could see us deviating from this range, hitting somewhere here and it being a fake out and moving up, or I could see us just bleeding. I think one of these two scenarios is most likely, right? The key thing to watch for is I don't see a scenario where we don't start to at least approach prior all-time highs. The real key thing is, what will Ethereum do once its relativity value starts to get up to these historic areas? Because I think we're going to test this level. So I'll be very curious to see what Ethereum does as we start to approach on those levels. What's up, Jorge? Good to see you. Any bullish divergence on that Ethereum BTC chart? Didn't even look, my friend. Are you trying to indicate there is some? Oh, look at you. You a smart one, my friend. You a smart one. So, Oof is pointing out, thank you very much, my friend. As you can see, one of the things I was highlighting on this relative strength index was the descending resistance, right? And we broke out temporarily, but it faked us out, right? So we still have some descending resistance. So what is Oof speaking to? And he's absolutely correct, okay? As price, another indication that we could see some sort of a pop-off in the Ethereum BTC relativity chart right here. No, technically right here. So as price has continued to consolidate and decrease in value, what has the relative strength index done? It's increased in value. See how the relative strength index is increasing in value? So what that's telling us, again, in layman's terms, is that even though the price relativity is declining, the strength behind that move is declining as well. There's not as much power behind it. Typically, when you see these bullish divergences on the RSI, there's never a guarantee. But especially on the higher time frames, when you see these things, they oftentimes like to play out. And the way that they play out is a pop up to the upside. Now, whether that's a dead cat bounce and we roll over, or it's the true beginnings of higher highs and higher lows and a trend reversal to the upside, you got to be patient and allow the chart to evolve. But really good to see some bullish divergence coming in on the RSI. Thank you, Oof. Appreciate you keeping me in check there that I pointed that out. Yeah, I think Caspa is going to be doing tremendously well here. People have gotten way too salty. Guys, that's going to do it for today's stream. I did want to evaluate the weekly close with you. This was a monumental close for us. It's helping to take those price indicators and begin to flip those things bullish again. Again, I can't emphasize enough just how, before you tune out here, I cannot emphasize enough how critical it was that we got a green hammer candlestick coming in on the weekly. That is monumental for price action. And what it's telling us, again, in layman's terms, is that most likely we are now going to see a continuation from this point moving forward, a continuation of a trend upwards. Okay, the higher highs and higher lows, meaning you're not going to see weekly closes occurring, or even weekly wicks, I believe, below here, right? You might see a wick come down here, and then one come down here, and then maybe we're up here. You see how we're getting the higher highs and higher lows coming in. This is what it is screaming to us is most likely to occur in the coming weeks. So I will be here every day to share with you what I see in the charts. I will be back here tomorrow. Make sure you hit that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. I might play around with a few other times. Something else to keep in mind, and I'll remind you guys as I get closer to my new start date. Very, very excited about the new job that I'm going to be starting here in a few weeks. And I'm also very, I feel invigorated and energized by the opportunity to really step into a leadership position and make a meaningful contribution. And I think some of that, what it's going to evolve is a little bit of me putting extra time in to my job over the, in particular the next handful of months here. So I might be going live at different days. I will be keeping the live stream going, but I might be going live at different times of the day just to accommodate my schedule, depending how that looks like. So make sure you click that bell icon for all notifications, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Very, very bullish close, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, everybody.